Good morning. All right, we'll give everyone a second to get in, but why don't you take a minute to drop in the chat what you're hoping to get out of the session today, and we'll do our best to integrate it all in. Stephanie White, nice to see you. Mark, how are you? All right, guys, I'm waiting for a couple of answers before we start here. What would you like to get out of today? What does success look like for you?
Shaw, I haven't had their coffee this morning, Chirag.
Not enough coffee? Let's see. All right, how to convince a seller to place a listing. Compass coming soon. Actionable dialogues and ideas. Expert tips on using these. A better understanding of three-phase marketing. All right, it's like a new construction development, right? It's the first comment, first house that sells, and then it starts moving. So, all right, let me open up my deck and we shall get started. All right, so for some of you who don't know me, my name is Chirag Shah. I'm the founder of Chirag Shah Coaching. At the heart of my life as an adult, I was a real estate agent. I'm convinced the only thing that makes me a good coach is that I actually sold real estate for 14 years of my life. Compass had acquired my company back in 2018. And I started as a director of coaching and training. The first thing I ever created, it's my brainchild, that's how my branded Compass was built, is Pitching Compass. So for the last 6+ years, starting in 2020, and when I worked as Compass's employee, I've only been coaching Compass agents. So I've been teaching people how to use the technology, the tools, and the resources with many of the top agents in the company for more than 17,000 hours. So what I'm going to share with you here today is a culmination of coming soon, started in, I believe, 2019. Then they had private exclusive. Now we have three-phase Compass, three-phase marketing. There's so many different ways that you can think about this. But what I know as an agent is we want one simple system on how to do things, right? Who wants a system that they can follow? Nancy Miller, nice to see you. So that's what I'm going to give you today. So don't feel that you have to write everything down that I say, right? There's listening to listen, listening to take notes, and listening to respond. And if you're doing any more of those at once, you're not really listening at all, right? So you will get the recording, we'll provide you notes, and we'll also provide you a whole three-phase marketing playbook along with my slides. You'll learn one thing about me is the only thing I really care about is not that people show up. I have this weird obsession that people use the information, right? So, when you're going on a vacation, it's like, why do helicopters cost so much money? Because they take you right to the destination. They don't make you get in the car, drive to the airport, go through security, wait for your flight, board the flight, get to the place, wait to get to the place that connects you. Then you got to get you just want to go to the destination, right? So what I find is in a lot of training, it's always the flight. It's not the destination. So I'm going to give you what I believe is the best, most prescriptive way to think about this, to take action. I'll give you different materials that you can start and create and use in your listing presentation. And I can promise you a few things. Number one, it is not overly salesy. right? I remember when I worked at Compass, Rory said to me, he goes, there are three things that you really need to know. And I'm like, okay, what is that? He's like, if it doesn't work for everybody in every market, don't say anything. I'm like, okay. I go, what's number two? And he says, if it doesn't work for a $20 million client, don't bother opening your mouth. And I said, okay. And I said, what's number three? He goes, if it doesn't integrate our technology, it's not worth talking about. I said, and those are the rules that I've been playing by for the last 6+ years, right? So let's get into this and we'll have time for some Q&A in the end. So welcome to the three-phase marketing playbook. So here is our roadmap for today, right? We are going to talk about the benefits of three-phase marketing, positioning three-phase marketing. Hold on one second here. Bear with me. Oops. There we go. We're going to talk about what is pre-marketing and why does it even matter? 9 reasons for private exclusive, 9 direct benefits of private exclusives, 3-step process to master pre-marketing, pre-marketing scripts and scenarios, which is what many of you have asked for, as well as gathering feedback, a property launch formula, the secrets to selling value, and the feature benefit destination method, and essentially your applied learnings. Like what do I do next? So if we start thinking about three-phase marketing, there are 4 distinct benefits that everybody wants, right? Everyone wants to win more listings. This is a way to earn the full commission that I believe all of you deserve. Create a better client experience, right? So if you look at the statistics, 81% of homes that sold in Compass Coming Soon sold at or above market value. Is that a better experience for your clients? 100%. You ever hear the phrase that it's a process, not an event? Well, getting clients to price their home in a strategic way is a process. In many cases, it's not an event. That's the benefits of phase 1 and phase 2. And ultimately, it sets yourself apart from the competition. So I'm going to pause for a second to share something with you guys. I think we're living through one of the biggest points and shifts in history of the entire real estate industry. This NAR settlement is bad for everybody else, but it's really good for all of us, right? Because we have a value, if we know how to use it, that no other broker or agent can actually do. Between Compass One and three-phase marketing, there's an opportunity for winning more listings, getting your full commission. And the last two is, right, I can create a better experience for my client that's quantifiable, and I can clearly demonstrate that I'm better than the competition. Do you know what the gap is? Anybody? Drop it in the chat. What's the gap? And this is where all the money is. Nobody has an idea. Interesting. So the gap is, how do I effectively communicate what I have to offer in the context of what the seller wants? That's what it is, right? So if you think about this on like the highest level, we need to understand this first. So think about this. You go to somebody's house and you say, what you do is like, we have Compass three-phase marketing, right? And the gift of Compass is you're the customer. The curse of Compass is you're the customer. What does that mean? All the product marketing is geared towards you. It explains your benefits and everything. But if you think about it, what does the client want? That's the destination, the direct benefit. They want a launch strategy to maximize the equity in their home. That's it. Like that's what they really want, right? So if they're hiring a marketing specialist, right? Like, what is your launch plan? And the best part is this is clear, it's concise, and it's quantifiable, right? So when you talk about three-phase marketing, you can start saying things like, and write these words down. Would it be okay? Would it be okay? Now, the reason those words are so important is it allows the other person to feel in control, right? Would it be okay, Michael, if I shared with you about Compass three-phase marketing and our launch strategy to maximize the equity in your home? Do you think anyone is going to say no to that? No. So in sales, in the way that we talk about it, that's what's called framing the conversation. It's aligning with somebody's belief systems, values, the destination they want to go to. Because when they say, yeah, I want to know about that, guess what? They're really listening to listen, right? Because it directly benefits them, right? Versus many people, it's like, we have Compass three-phase marketing. Let me tell you how it works, right? And you go into all of the details. Who here has ever had a lender present in their office and they're sitting there with all the mechanics of the loan and the DTIs and the ratios and everything else? And you're just like, good God, like, how does this help my client cut to the chase? That ever happen? Raise your hand. All the time, right? Origin Point has this great program, right? I call it buy before you sell. And I have some clients there and our company's working with all the lenders. And I'm like, you can't call it the departing residence program. You can't call it any of this stuff, right? Like it's crazy. The agents just want to know, like, how do I get more listings with this program? How do I create additional opportunities for my clients? Right. And I'll touch upon that at the end of how you can use that in the pitch, because there's a whole group of people that are out there that say, you know, I have a 3% interest rate. I love to rent my property, but if I find a new one, I would move, right? If I find the right home, I'll put my house on the market. I don't want to move twice at once. Well, this three-phase marketing paired with that program creates a whole new category of business that most of us today either don't know about or can't do. Now, what is pre-marketing, right? So if you think about pre-marketing, it's just really a way to introduce it to an audience, build momentum, gather feedback, and know days on the market. Are days on the market good for the seller? No, right? Look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist that's working with an agent to figure out, like, there are three key indicators in price, right? Average days on market, how long did it take for a home to sell in this neighborhood, list size to sales price, what a seller wanted, where's the buyer was willing to pay in the price. Once you get past those days on market and they start going up, the only thing people are going to think is, what's wrong with this house? I'm making a low offer, right? Why does it matter? Because number one, it's a controlled environment for strategic adjustments. And we'll walk you through how to do that later on. It also creates urgency for buyers, right? People want things that they can't get, right? Like, it's exclusive. You look at the way that the Hermes business model works, right? Everything they do is exclusive. For God's sakes, you have to spend like $10,000+ to earn the right to buy back, right? Like, it's nuts. And people do it all the time, right? And it also reduces the time on market. So if you look at the best brands in the world, this is what they're doing. Tesla does this. Apple does this, right? And if we have time, I will show you in the end how to take a listing and build out all of the private exclusive coming soon marketing with ChatGPT to mirror an Apple product launch in 5 minutes. So here's something interesting, right? What is a private exclusive? Does anyone want to try to explain it without cheating and using my slide? Mark Dina, I'm calling on you. It's a whisper. Where's Mark? Stephanie?
Can
All
you
right, Dan,
repeat the question, Chirag?
what is a private exclusive?
Would you like me to go?
Yeah, please. You're the
This is
one.
Alana. I'm the sales manager in the Bethesda office.
Hey, Alana, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Susan Westbrook's volume is on, but so a private exclusive is a listing that you have that only Compass agents can see and clients that have collections.
Okay, ready? So can I use you as can I give you some strategic context here?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So if we say that to somebody, like, a lot of times in communication, what we're trying to say and what somebody hears are two very different things, right?
That's
So
right.
when
I
we
shouldn't
talk
say
about,
can see.
but this is the whole thing. This is the way that it's marketed to you. So this is the way that you communicate it to somebody else, right?
Well,
Like,
I've actually had this exact conversation because when agents and even anyone hears only Compass agents can see, then you start to think that only Compass agents can go and tour it. But
so
that's not the case.
what does the seller want, right? We'll go right back to this. Oops. They want, what's a private exclusive? A strategic way to market your home. It's a way to generate momentum, targeted feedback, and position your home to maximize the equity in your home. A way to position your home to maximize its equity.
That's great.
That's what they want, right? Like right there. What seller doesn't want a strategic way to market their home? Well, the next question they're going to ask is, well, how does that really work, right? Listen, there's a thing in like what I would call behavioral psychology selling. If you ask the question or you say a statement in your brain, it registers the truth. It's like, this is the example I always use. If I ask you, what color is this iPhone? Most people are going to say black because the case is black. Some people say white because the phone is white and the case is black. But the example I use that is because what's true for you is true for you, right? So if they believe that this is like, so what do you think these benefits are, right? So we'll go through this. It's a protected marketing period, a bespoke marketing strategy. There's an exclusivity effect that we create. We work with a curated buyer list. It gives you scheduling flexibility. It's a much less intrusive process. It creates a scenario where you have negotiation power. We'll provide you concierge level of service. And it really provides high profile privacy, right? So this world that we live in that everyone wants to sell their house on the MLS is not true, right? You look at certain things that are trends that are happening. Think about all those athletes that had their houses broken into, right? That was a big thing. Think about how many of your clients have really expensive artwork that gets syndicated to all of these websites showing entry points, exit points to their home. Like if I was selling my house, I would not put my house on MLS. I would want an agent to sell it privately, right? Because I value my privacy. It's assumptive for anyone to believe that there's one way only to sell a home today when there's not. Every human is different, right? So now when we start thinking about this, like here's the breakdown of the benefits. Now, I encourage all of you, you know that Compass Black book that you guys put all of that information, sometimes like too much information. These are the things that you want to put in there, right? And you're going to want to use conversations like, hey, Alana, we want to focus our time talking about what's solely important to you. We can understand that your brain is thinking like, I need to move. How does like the listing life integration work, right? And there are many things that you're focused on your family. There's so many details in doing this. So let's focus on the things that you want to talk about. We'll provide all the details in the book. Go back, review the book. If you have any questions, here's my personal cell. Just give me a call. Does that feel like a better experience for the client? 100%. You do not want to read them off all of this stuff, right? Like, think about it. It's like keeps the sale confidential. Private exclusive allows us to be conductive, discreetly protecting the sellers. Like they get it, right? But if you look at it, here are all the benefits, right? Confidential, like it's not available to everybody. Minimize frequencies. I remember selling my house in Westchester when I moved to Connecticut. And I remember we had 2 kids under 7. We had 2 dogs. One was a 18-month-old German Shepherd. And I remember the first time, and I never ever understood this until it happened to me, that we cleaned the house, we packed the kids up, we packed the dog. One dog's in the crate. We have another little Chihuahua that's barking. We're trying to rush our kids in the car. As parents are like, get in the car. Somebody's looking to see the house, you know, that whole process. And then we leave, we're driving around and the person called and canceled. But do you know what it's like to not live in your house and have it be your home because you're showing property? So this creates a better process, right? It engages serious pre-qualified buyers. You have the right to ask for pre-approval, proof of funds, whatever you want. If not, don't see my home. It's not this everybody MLS process. The seller gets to go the pace, right? Do you know how many people will put their house on private exclusive for 3 months as they do a bunch of stuff getting ready just to see what happens? And sometimes some of these homes sell, right? You have people that have been looking for houses in neighborhoods forever and they're just dying to get in and they're like, you know what? I can see past all this stuff. I'm willing to pay what you want. Take all the time you need. I just want to live here. If you've ever sold real estate in your life, you understand how much that actually happens. Exclusivity and urgency. Now, many of your Compass colleagues are not going to like this, but remember, your fiduciary responsibility is your client. So you bring somebody in and they start talking about like my client's interested in everything else. So Alana's going to be my role play partner. I'm going to say to Alana, I'm going to say, you know, my client has not indicated if they want to go on the MLS or not. Please present your offer, and I'm happy to share it and the benefits with them. Do you see that? My client has not indicated. The agent's going to go back, like, listen, they say they'll negotiate with us on an offer, but just they were very clear that they don't know if the client's going to go on the MLS or not, right? So once a buyer thinks they want it, they think other people want it. And then this behavioral psychology says, what do I need to pay so that no one else has this house? Right?
Can you say that again, though? My client has not indicated whether they want to go onto the MLS or not.
I
And
would
then
like to
next-
present an offer. My clients are really interested. You answer all the questions. You're going to say, yes, I'm happy, Alana, to present your client's offer. And not however, but, and they have not indicated if they want to go live on MLS or not. That's it. Let that story sit in their head. Who here feels like that would make a difference, right? Like it's, remember I told you the gap in the business you want and the income you deserve is knowing the words to say and how to use all this stuff, right? So if you go into the marketing strategy, the negotiation position is clear, like everyone wants these things, right? We'll get into the feedback and the overpricing thing, because that's, to me, is like one of the biggest benefits of this, right? So let's get into process, right? Number one.
May I make a statement about a benefit that I observe?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, another thing too is, well, the point that you just made about uh, that the seller hasn't decided yet whether or not they're gonna go on MLS to a prospective buyer's agent, Compass buyer's agent, is also is putting them in a position like, you know, if you're really interested in this property, um, there's a limited time here. The seller could be putting it on multiple lists at any time, in terms of it being something exclusive that you could move on now. But the other thing, another benefit in phase one and phase two that I've noticed is, unlike just going on multiple lists, I mean, you're able to communicate to the the agent network what the buyer broker commission is. I mean, this is an important incentive that the seller is making an investment in. They're unable to communicate when they go on multiple lists.
Yep, that's a great thing. And so for everybody, thank you, Peter. Those are the commission. You know what you call a commission? What it really is, it is a sales incentive. That's all that it is, right? Like I can get into this. I don't know. I've been talking about NAR for years, even before it started. So look, let's go into like now here's what you need to do to make money, right? Number one, you need to understand the benefits. Like if we're not clear, they're not clear, right? So, if for many of us who are married, have a partner in a relationship, you could share something with somebody, right? And you need to ask them, what did you hear, right? Like you could say to somebody, I trust and believe in you, and they could turn around and what they heard is, I'm not going to share this information with everybody. What are you talking about? But really what you're trying to communicate is like, that I trust you with this responsibility, or I believe in you. I want you to lead, right? Like, so you have to understand how communication works and what the benefits are, right? And you could focus on those benefits. Features, I gave you the features, then we gave you the benefits, right? The second one is, this is the most important part. It's the most valuable skill you own, and it's the one thing nobody spends time on. Arash is one of our clients, and he can tell you he uses this stuff, and he knows that he practices it, and it works, right? If you don't practice how to communicate, you are going to lose money. And in a 30-year real estate career, because it's not a job, many of us lose millions of dollars. Because if Alana does not understand what she's getting in exchange for the compensation that she pays, she might want to go with somebody else who explained it better for her direct benefits. Now, here's just a side note. Have you ever wondered, Alana, why agents offer so much value and then their commission still gets cut?
Yes,
Do you want me to give you the answer to that?
always.
So if I want, and we'll get into this in the selling value part, but it's something I want you to start thinking about now. If you want 4 to 5 different things, right? And the agent offers 10 different things, immediately you're going to say, all right, I like what Aaron has to offer, but I only need 4 or 5 of these things. So let me pay less, right? You go to a consultant, they write you this whole proposal. You're like, I want 4 to 5 things. And they give you 10. People don't think like, oh, I'm getting more. I'm really feel good about what I pay. People go to, I don't need all this stuff. Let me save some money, right? However, if you shift it and you know how to effectively communicate the benefits, you understand what you're offering in the context of what they need, then it's like they want 4 to 5 things. You give them the 4 to 5 things. And Alana says to herself, and correct me if I'm wrong, all right, these are the exact 4 to 5 things I want. They've explained how it benefits me, how it gets me to the destination I want. Is it worth the investment they're charging? 9 out of 10 times it's yes. And you're done, right? Like this is like pitching things is not complicated. The complicated part is actually investing the time and learning how to do this. And if you look at your calendar, ask yourself, in the 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years in real estate, how much time do you spend every day actually practicing this stuff with other people? Which is like, how do I need to do this, right? Or practicing with yourself, right? As Kobe Bryant said, you'll never be good at anything you don't practice. And then having a clear execution plan. If I'm all of you, the best thing is everyone has their own unique way of doing things, right? I would build out these visual timelines. Like we give our clients like marketing calendars, right? So there's a whole calendar, their timelines. You can personalize them into Google calendars, right? There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but if you follow this 3-step process, you will master this entire Compass 3-phase marketing, and I guarantee you it'll grow your business. All right, let's go to scripts because everyone wants to know what to do. Before sharing the pre-marketing plan script, ready? Would you agree that homes with the greatest buyer demand get the best price? Is there anyone that will say no to that? No, because now they agreed. Now watch the next sentence. Would it be okay if I showed you the exact 3-step process to achieve that? Now you have the person intrigued, interested, buying in, and it's getting them to their goal, right? That's simple, right? Now you're on an appointment. So then you go, would it be okay if I shared with you the 9 benefits of pre-marketing? Right? And they're going to say, yeah. So then you share, right? Like the thing that said the 9 reasons, this one that we showed first, these 9 reasons, you slide that over to them, Michael. And what you're actually going to tell them is, please take a look at these 9 reasons, take as much time as you need, and let me know which ones resonates with you the most. Now, here's what we're doing. This is called isolation. Remember before I was talking about, let's find out about the things that the clients want and then give them what they want, right? So if you don't know what they want, by human nature, you're going to go through all of it. It's going to sound like a college style lecture, which let me just show you something here. This doesn't work as well exactly on the West Coast, but it works better here where we are. So watch this. Now, look at this. Ready? See my clock?
Are you waiting for someone to say stop?
Who here felt like that was a long time? That's 30 seconds. Now imagine you don't know what a client wants, what that feels like going through all of this stuff for them, right? It's overwhelming. So people go, when they're in a state like that, they get confused. Then it feels chaotic and overwhelming. They go back to certainty, like, this is too much, I don't need it. Let me just do it the way it's always been done. If people are confused, you can't influence them because their natural inkling is to feel overwhelmed and go back to certainty. Do you all, I hope you guys are getting that there's a lot of like sales psychology in all this. And I'm hoping that I'm communicating this in a way that is easy for you to resonate. Because what I find is when you hear this one time, it's like the light bulb goes up like, oh, got it, right? So look, you share the reasons. And then after they tell you the reasons, you engage, meet them where they are, and you just talk about the things that they want to talk about, right? Like, I'm interested in the privacy, the buyer demand, the negotiation. Great. Can we share with you exactly what that would look like? And then you create the experience, right? We call this in sales the ownership experience. If Dana does a really good job explaining all of these benefits in the specific context of their life, their goals, their expectations, and their unique situation, they're going to call somebody up and be like, I met Dana. Do you know what? She can launch my house 3 times. There's a chance to drive up demand as long as I'm not like egregious with pricing. I could set my own terms. She's going to bring in her own buyers. When people start having that conversation of the experience happening before it did because they're that excited, you win. Here's another one. At the listing appointment, what's a private exclusive, right? You get asked this very often, I would imagine, right? It's an opportunity to start our marketing campaign strategically and build momentum. Would it be okay if I shared some of the benefits with you? And then you slide over the benefits and you say, let me know, take your time, read them over and let me know which one specifically you feel would benefit you the most and engage with them on their terms. So literally you just have to learn the 9 reasons, 9 benefits, how to ask a couple questions, slide the thing over. They're going to tell you what they want. You're going to meet them where they want. Their brain's like, I want these 4 things. She's going to do these 4 things. This is good for me. Is this complicated, Alana?
Yeah.
Is this the simplest explanation you've ever heard?
Yes.
Good. Mission accomplished. Here's another one. Can I do both private, exclusive, and Compass coming soon, right? Depending on how we explain this, people can be confused. Now, if they're confused, you want to go to simplicity, right? Absolutely. They work hand in hand. Would you like me to explain how? Yes, please, Chirag, do so. Private exclusive is really just to test the market and gather feedback. Compass coming soon. You see how I wrote these words? An enhanced digital marketing campaign. Who doesn't want a digital marketing campaign for their home? Right? Now, how do you think this strategy will impact maximizing the equity for your home? They're literally going to start selling themselves verbally on why they should hire you. Oh, it would do this. It would do this. They'll probably, in most cases, they'll ask you some more questions like, how does it work? Well, what's an enhanced digital marketing campaign? That's really great. We run an ad campaign across Facebook, Instagram, and Google. We have an agent-to-agent marketing campaign, and we take all the feedback and momentum we got from the first phase and bring it into the second phase to a larger audience. So let me ask you a question. How do you think this strategy will impact maximizing the equity in your home? I don't sell real estate. I don't have as many opportunities as you do. You guys have the benefit of doing this every single day, right? You all should be better than I am at this because you're living this every day. I'm just a guy who loves selling houses and I kind of miss it, right? So I vicariously just like now live through all of you. And every time a new tool comes out, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had this as an agent. This is what I would have done. And that's really like the secret sauce to our training, right? Like my team's like, Chirag's not a business coach. He has an agent brain, just like all of the other clients. That's why he can like resonate with them so well, right? Because this is what real life and real estate looks like. It's a lot. Now, let's talk about this. What's the difference between private exclusive and Compass coming soon, right? Discrete launch phase to the internal Compass network, the largest luxury network of brokers that is one connected luxury brand in America. Compass coming soon, launch to a broader agent audience. Starting with private exclusive builds momentum. Does that make sense? They're going to say, okay, that makes sense. Do you feel that a multiple launch strategy will help you maximize the equity in your home? Now, these are all tools to have in your tool belt, depending on your client, their goals, their expectations, your unique situation, the flow of the conversation. You're going to have to take out a different tool. And this is why I said you have to understand the benefits first. Then you need to practice and understand how to communicate each unique benefit. If you do this, remember this, it's like riding a bicycle. Once you know how to do it once, you're never going to forget it. How many people want to win in their market, right? Like beat out other people, beat out other brokers, and God forbid, I know this is collaborate without ego, but you know, you guys are all self-employed. If they have to compete against a Compass agent, make sure that they win. There's a lot of them in your market, right? So here's the thing. Everyone can have the same set of tools. Whoever talks about them in the most direct way that benefits the client's unique situation wins, right? So look, I'll give you an example. If I tell you, I've been an agent for 14 years. Compass wrote my brokerage. Pitching Compass is what I created. I have 17,000 plus hours coaching on Compass platform. We have the largest community of Compass agents for any coaching company in America, 600 plus training videos and stuff. We have our own customized AI search tool that's literally an AI built to find you whatever you need in our database. None of that stuff matters. You know how much that's worth? Zero. What matters is what you feel you're getting from me right now. So if you can't use all this stuff, all of those things I said doesn't matter. It's the same thing with your listing presentation. You could have all the stuff you want in the world, but if it does not address your unique goals, expectations, unique situation, and a myriad of other factors, it's all worthless, right? No one cares about any of this stuff. People cares like, how are they going to help me get to the destination I want to get to? Okay, so let's go through this. I could do a whole nother longer training on this. Just, I'm going to plug another Compass Atlanta event. On March 17th, I believe, we're going to Atlanta. It's like a big in-person event. They invited all of you. I'm going to go much deeper on this because this is like a whole nother thing, right? So let's go through this at high level, and then you guys also can fill this in. The first thing is you have to list a home as a private exclusive, which means you actually have to do work, meaning you're going to have to call agents in your office, get a sponsor, you know, all those people that you make hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a year that generally send you a Christmas card, a wine, or maybe take you out to lunch. They need to start paying for stuff. That's called a partnership, right? Agents will always come for two things: great food, free booze. You'll have people there, right? And be specific on what you're looking for feedback on, right? Like you got to get people to the house. You hype up a private exclusive and nobody shows up, it's bad, right? Transition to Compass coming soon. Now, this next part in this strategy is adjusting the property based on the collected feedback. You're going to launch a digital marketing ad campaign on Compass. Focus the agent-to-agent marketing campaigns. Whether you go on Compass, your MLS, I'm targeting every agent that sold a home in that neighborhood in the last 24 months. But you have to have compelling marketing that tells stories that connects to experiences, right? Not like, you know, when people wake up, like in sales, we ask people all the time, like, how do your clients and consumers self-identify? People don't wake up and say, you know what, Alana, like, let's go find that 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom condo in this neighborhood. Like, that's not how people think, right? If you look at people and the way that they live in houses, there's like several things that are really important to them, experiences they want to have. If they could have the right experiences and it connects to things they want to go. So we need to become storytellers, right? And then after that, I would implement the phases from phase 1, phase 2. Now, here's the thing. Remember we talked about that whole strategy of I'm not going to list on the MLS. I don't know. Well, here's the way really to drive up demand. I'm going to have my seller price it competitively, meaning if I know it goes on the multiple listing service, I'm going to get a ton of offers, right? I'm going to go in phase 1. I'm going to tell my clients, I'm going to tell the agents that and say, you know what, the seller decided to go to Compass coming soon. We have your offers, 1 showing each. That's it, right? The sellers are firm with that. You go to coming soon, you do the same thing. Now you go to phase 3, you launch, right? If you have like MLS rules, it's like some business hours, you put it on a Friday, at least you have the weekend to market it through, right? Then you get to like the actual open house, right? You don't have to take an offer. You get to do the first open house. We market the open house and we invite all of the neighbors. I don't care if you door knock, handwritten invitations, door hangers, give them food and some drinks. And guess what? Get them there all 30 to 45 minutes before. They're going to be, and then you tell everyone that did a showing from phase 1 and phase 2, like the house is open, come by. You will drive so much traffic to that house, people will not know what they need to bid. Right? So you'll have to work with your sales managers on timelines, deadlines, local MLS rules. Every MLS in the country is different. So I can't cater this to anyone unless we were doing a very specific regional training, which I would be happy to do. Does this all make more sense to everybody now? Like how to use it, how to do it, what to say? Yes?
Shrug,
No?
yeah, I have a question.
Can I just save your question for the end so we can make sure we just get through it?
I'm sorry, yep.
All right, thank you. All right, secrets of success in gathering feedback. I will never, ever forget, I was 23, naive when I got my license and I showed my first property. And the agent called me up and says, can you provide me feedback? And you know what my answer was? Like, feedback on what? Like, what do you want feedback on? It is such a broad term, right? So you need to be, and this next three things is where all your income comes from in this. Be specific on what you want feedback on, right? Number two, if you're thinking of like a scenario like Compass Concierge, right? You want to be very specific on getting feedback from your colleagues on like the condition of the house. Would it be more appealing if they change some of the things, right? But here's the thing. Before you collect feedback, before you do your private exclusive launch event, you need to align with the seller on the purpose and outcome of the feedback. We're going to get this feedback. Once we have this information, what is the ideal outcome for you? Because if not, then they might feel like you're attacking them, right? Like, all the agents said this. We need to do this. Well, this is my house. Why are you telling me what I need to do? Does that make sense to everybody? The next one is, and this is a Chirag quote, the sole purpose of data is to make future decisions from it. So I'd say, Alana, we believe the sole purpose of data, feedback, and information is that you can make decisions based on facts, not feelings. So let's align on the purpose and outcome of the feedback so that we have a strategy going into phase one. They'd be like, ooh, that sounds good, right? Like, I really like it. Like, Michael's very well thought out, right? Like, but think about this. How many agents are using data this way? How many people are communicating with this way? Unless you've met me, the statistical probability, and not to say that I'm great or anything, is low, right? Like, these are all things that we've come up with, but we know that they work for hundreds, if not thousands of agents, so just use them. It works. The secrets of selling value. Perceived value is your services, your resources, your benefits. Your actualized value is what they're getting from you, right? I shared with you my entire resume of Compass stuff. It's my perceived value. Actualized value, if you've ever considered working with me, is what you feel you got out of this training today. Does that make sense? Now, here are the common pitfalls, and this is like another thing that I would say is fueled by NAR, and just my quick tangent on it. Worst trade organization in the world. They claim to be the parents of the industry. If they were parents, they represent the parents in the book Matilda. If you ever read it, you know what I'm talking about. But that whole settlement and everything. So we're like, and it's human nature, right? Our brain is primarily wired for two needs, certainty and comfort. So like, we don't know where we're going to get our income. We don't know if people are going to sign a commission. We don't know if they want to offer buyer broker commission, right? So we end up projecting our fear, doubts, and worries as lack of confidence, right? You have to assume authority and control. You fail to focus on the seller's needs, right? You focus on giving them all the stuff, not just the things they wanted. You don't know your value proposition, right? We don't know the tools and how to communicate them based on what somebody wants. We talk too much about what we can do for people before understanding what they want. I think it was a JFK quote, like, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, right? I believe that was the quote, right? So figure out what they want. The secret of selling value and earning and being a top salesperson in this industry is practicing your pitch. If you take all of this information, now mind you, we're giving you scripts, our slides, our playbook, there's nothing that you are going to need. And the recording that you could go back and watch this. There is factually not a single thing on earth that you need that you don't have. Because as I shared in the beginning, the only thing I care about is you actually use the information. Now, let's learn something new. The feature, benefit, destination model. Feature, I'm going to gather valuable feedback. The benefit, make adjustments before going live on the market, right? And really the destination, what they want is the best first impression, maximize demand, and ultimately the most equity or money for their home, correct? Stop talking about features. Start highlighting benefits and the destination that they want to get to. Right? Like, this is a good conversation process, right? So it's like, if I talked about coaching, right, I would say the features are all the things our program has to offer, right? The benefits are how it's going to grow your business, right? I could give numbers, I could give all kinds of different examples. But you know what the destination is? You know what every agent wants? It's a BLB. Do you know what that acronym stands for? A better business, a better quality of life, and a better bank account. That's the three destinations every agent wants to get to, BLB. And that's what we offer, right? Like, it's our belief that if you operate your business on systems and process, and you practice, and you're in a great community, your business, your life, and your bank account all get better at once. If all three aren't happening, like, it's not working, right? So think about it for your clients, like what is their destination? Now, here's a couple things. We'll open it up for Q&A, and like we have another 15 minutes, which in my world's a lot of time. And I can, if you guys also want, I can show you how to do some cool stuff on ChatGPT. So look, start by asking the right questions to understand the seller's priorities. Present your services through their lens. Like, these are my priorities. These are what we're going to talk about. Ensure the seller feels the value is aligned with their goals. A person that helps you get to where you want to go is a person of value. And look, you need to confidently present Compass three-phase marketing, demonstrate the tangible benefits, collect relevant feedback, right, for adjustments, and build trust with sellers by focusing on their highest priority. So if you want the playbook, like we literally have a book that has the scripts and everything else, you could scan the QR code, or Mark will send a recap, or you could go to a page, put your email in, and download what we're doing. So a quick plug we started this new series called Real-Time Coaching Lab, where we're bringing agents on, real agents, real challenges, real-time solutions. It's, I believe, at 12 o'clock every Friday. So I'll drop, Laura, if you could just drop a link in there if people want to join. We have Aaron Buckbinder coming on today, and he's going to share with us how he went from $350,000 to $2.5 million in GCI in a couple of years without sacrificing any quality of life and actually having more free time. So we'll share that with all of you. And now we'll open this up to Q&A. Peter, you had a question.
Yeah. When you go to phase two, coming soon, I mean, you're not just broadening out the exposure there. You're actually going live. You're on the internet. You're on compass.com with coming soon, and you're visible to anyone you know doing a Google search.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so it's it's you at that point, you know, again, you're going live, you know, and that's something I think that's a point of difference, you know, with the seller.
Exactly.
You
Does
know,
anyone have questions about the content, presentation? How do I use this? How does it work? Anybody?
I have a real quick question. I think
Shoot.
you mentioned, this is Dana. You mentioned something that speaks to me, which is I don't care about anybody's dog and pony show. I just want everybody to get right to the point. How does it help me? And there's lots of data and all of the presentation and everything. What have you found has been the most important, resonating, you know, literally 2 sentences that captures the attention of the seller? Because I think that we all approach it in our own way, in our own style, but essentially we are bringing a much more comprehensive and complex phase with different names. It's like going to Starbucks the first time and, you know, I just want a large. Well, that's
I don't want to vent the
you know, I don't care what you call it. You want the largest coffee. That's what you're telling. Like, I want that cut to the chase kind of thing that, and have you found any, you're so good with the words. Have you found anything that kind of nails it? And then we can go back into that.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like, would it be okay if I shared with you a strategic launch process to maximize the equity in your home? They're going to say yes. And then like a big part of sales is framing a conversation, right? So once I could frame a conversation that they understand it through their eyes and the way they see the world today. Like, have you ever seen how Apple launches the iPhone? There's literally a line and attention and everything else like that. They're going to say, yeah, absolutely. Like, how did it feel if we did something similar like that for your home to create that kind of attention and demand? Right. So then if the seller wants to overprice, right, and they're going to say, remember the Apple example and everything else. If Apple made their phones $5,000, thousands of more dollars than every other smartphone, do you think it would get the same attention? No, it's just like that for your home, right? It's about understanding how to frame a conversation. If you take the frame out of a conversation, I'll use another example. A couple of people asked for the QR code. Got it. I like to see all of you. So if I said to you, Dana, you know, I only work Mondays through Saturdays, like I'm not available after 5 p.m. You have to make an appointment. When my day ends at 6 p.m., I'll check my phone once, and I don't work on Sundays. How does that feel for you? Play along with me.
I mean,
here.
I don't love that, but okay.
Exactly. So you're going to say, I would say this out loud. I want to ask you a question before we talk about our communication plan, and just want some space and just follow along. It all makes sense to you. Right? That's what we call a pattern interrupt, right? They're gonna be like, what the heck did they talk? All right, like, what's the
Sure.
question? Like,
Okay.
I point to people's cell phones when I do this, right? Something that costs $1,000 plus, so it's not cheap, but something in their mind that has high value. Dana, if you're getting your cell phone service, would you ever feel comfortable dropping it off to a business where you didn't know what days of the week it was open and closed?
No, I would
Now,
not.
as a business professional that could commonly need appointments outside of traditional hours, if that same place didn't have a clear way for you to ensure that you were able to meet on your terms outside of business hours when needed, is that the type of service you would find meets your needs?
Yes.
Yes, meaning like if they have no defined policy, like.
Oh, no, I mean, yes, exactly, that I would not like that.
Yeah, and so the answer is actually no, I would not like that, right? So they'll say no. And then the third one is, given your phone has a really high value, and even if it's outside of business hours, would you want to leave your phone somewhere
Nope,
that had no emergency policy if you had to get in touch with them, what that was like?
no,
So,
wouldn't do that.
what I want to share with you is, since you don't want that to happen with something as small as your phone, let's ensure when you make this investment for selling your home that doesn't happen. And then I'd introduce my communication plan. Because now they've agreed in their mind they wouldn't want to work that way for their phone. Like, why would they want to do that selling your house? And that's how we get agents to use structured communication plan that organizes their business, gets their time back, because that makes sense to somebody. But the best part about this is all the people have special needs, anxiety, like Shrug, that makes a lot of sense, but I can't do that, and here's because. Or like, I'm crazy, but I'll introduce you to a lot of people. Like, I get it. But then you could weed these people out like a filter, right?
Okay, I like that iPhone scenario, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have a question? All right, you guys all want to see some cool AI stuff right now? Hit yes in the chat, and we'll
Yes.
get. All right. Somebody drop a link to their listing in here. One link. Oops. Link. I need a listing. Ah, Danny, you're the winner.
This
All right.
this is not in MLS, this is just in Compass Private Exclusive.
Well,
that
let's see what happens, right?
Okay,
I need you to learn about everything that is provided on this link. Is this information accurate? I think so.
wow, look at that. Okay,
Now,
hold
already
on.
watched
I gotta
that.
make it a little bigger so I can read it.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Nice.
I can't see either anymore, so
Yeah,
I understand the whole font issues after all these years. Now watch this. Act as this is a home. A luxury Compass agent is. I need you to act as if you are an expert home launch specialist with 30 years of experience creating demand and attention for properties by connecting storytelling and experiences mirroring the Apple product launch. Now, the rule of ChatGPT is like, it doesn't really matter. Like, this is, we're giving them this, right? I don't really care what comes out. Now we'll finesse it. So this is your listing. Tell me what you think. A home that redefines Kensington living. Imagine a home that blends history, craftsmanship, and innovation, where every detail has been curated for modern living
that.
while preserving the character that makes Kensington special. This isn't a home, it's a relaunch of what a home can be. Like an Apple keynote unveiling a new product, we take a step back and ask, what makes this home different? It's not the walls and finishes, it's how it makes you feel the moment you step inside,
Wow.
Nice.
right?
Anybody want to buy it? Look at this. I'd buy it right now, just from this.
You're gonna buy your own listing, Dana.
I'm gonna buy it. Yeah, wow. I
So
love that. I love
now you're gonna say, I need you to write an email that is going to be sent out to only my Compass colleagues that follows storytelling, shares a great hook in the subject line, and creates an emotional connection so the agent wants to come and get and share with their buyers.
Yeah, let's see.
It's still writing.
Chirag, are you on ChatGPT 4, 4.5? Does it matter for us which one?
I don't know.
we're-
I like the $200 version because like we'll spend 200 in my mind is people like it's $200 and we spend $200 going out to dinner all the time.
Right.
So like the 4.5 is a free thinking one that's made for writing, right?
Right.
So here we go. A home that feels like a private retreat and it's about to hit the market, right? Every once in a while, a home comes along that just is another listing. It's an experience. Is more than a beautifully reimagined Cape Cod. It's a rare blend of charm, craftsmanship, and modern luxury that speaks to the kind of buyers who know a home
Look
is
at
more than
that.
just square footage. It's a feeling.
I'm going
Right.
to give a little tip on AI to those who don't use it. And this is going against everything in my degree of journalism taught me. Throw a typo or two in there. Don't make it so perfect. Because I tell you what, this is incredibly powerful, but we are valuable. Our brains are valuable. I don't want homeowners and people to think it's not just this amazing thing, but now it's the phone calls, the connections, the, getting out there and talking to people about this.
Well,
So,
I think this is the thing, right? So if you think about this, right? So look, you can go in here, you could change it, you can prompt it, you can get it to write social posts. Like this literally took me 4 minutes to do, right? But the point that I really want to add on to what Dana's saying, this is your top of funnel, right? And you realize you're not getting here unless you did all the other things right. And like what I want to share with you is, in my mind, there are only going to be two types of people left in the world. The people that know how to use this and the people that don't, right? This is only as good as the user that's using this, right? Like I could sit here and I've done this so many times. Like what I literally ended up doing, and I encourage you to do, instead of doom scrolling for hours a day on Instagram and TikTok, I now spend 20, 30 minutes coming up with the craziest things that I could humanly think of, like asking it to be a dog walker, a lawyer, and a psychologist, right? And like, I'm like, what happens if you mix those things? This thing is like having somebody that's for $20 to $200 a month that has like almost 150 IQ in every job field in the world. It is a resource. So to tie this all together, we hope you join us for Real-Time Coaching Lab, and I have to figure out how to get you these prompts, right? And because once you put a link in, you can't share it anymore, which is kind of annoying. But look, we will give you we call it the private exclusive playbook. It'll have the 9 reasons, all of the stuff. We'll give you our slides. And, my hope is that you use the information, right? So I'm hopefully going to be working with Mark and your team, and like, who would like more training like this? Was this helpful for everybody? All right, cool. So I have one ask of you, like find me on Instagram. And when you use the stuff, this is my fuel and my gas tank. Share your wins with us. Like I love hearing when people win. Like it's my favorite thing, right? So like shoot us an email, send us a DM, right? But please just use this stuff and understand the first time you use it, it might be a little uncomfortable, But it's the same thing. Like many of us have kids. It's like, you know, when the kids fall on their face and they're trying to walk for the first time, we're like, all right, buddy, you could do it. And when they keep doing it over and over again, and all of a sudden, like they got that little weird stumble and then they fall. And then all of a sudden they learn how to run, right? Like, you know, it happens, right? So I always tell people, if you're a parent, just take the same advice you consistently give your kids. Like, don't give up. We all have, many of us have kids in real estate, right? If your kids didn't want to go to practice, you can be like, how are you ever going to be good at anything you don't practice, right? So like, I always joke around, like if we all could bring our kids to work and they could hear these calls, they'd be your best accountability partners in the world. So as always, love my heart. I love you all. I will see you all soon. And if you guys can make it down to Atlanta, I'll see you then. If not, our paths, I'm sure, will cross sooner than later. Bye, everybody.
All right, thank
Right.
you.